Welcome to Back Into Fishing. I'm down here again today at my community lake. I'm going to fish the north side first while there's still some shade over the water and see if I can't connect with some fish. This is that spot I got that fish on Sunday when I didn't have the video camera with me. I did get a regular picture of it though. About 2-pound bass. Would have came right on this cast here. Right in that spot. Does not seem to be anybody home. I think one more cast in here and if we get no results, move on to the next spot. This is spot number 4 and I haven't had a single bite yet, with the exception of the very first place I stopped. I actually hooked a fish and it was in very tight quarters. My line got wrapped in a tree. The fish jumped and threw the hook. I hope that's not a bad omen of the way the day's going to go. That might be a fish. All right, 9 inches. It's a start. I hate throwing them down a hill like that, but caught this on my what I call my Poor Mans NED Rig. I have to go over that later on exactly what this is. Well, I already fished this spot once on my way down. Now that I'm on my way back, I decided to hit it again. Got this little 6-7 inch bass. Second fish on the Poor Mans NED Rig. Well, I made 1 or 2 passes in all the spots I usually fish on the north side of the lake. Now I'm hoofing it on around to the south side. I ought to be over there in about 20 minutes. Well, I've made it to the other side. In the last video I made down here at my community lake, on the first cast, I caught a fish throwing the bait right here. Whoops, I think we got a bite. Right. Ooh, I think he will just squeeze by 12 inches. The last 2 times I fished this spot, I caught fish off of it. Hopefully that's going to be a repeat today. Let us see. Right. Wow. He's about the same size as the number 2 fish, maybe 6.5, 7 inches. And the hook's a little deeper in his mouth, but I can get it out. Get it out and get him back in. Oh, that might be a fish. Not big, but not small. This spot has not produced anything the last few times, so I'm figuring it's due. Spend a dozen casts in here, I think. I just turned the camera off too. Literally felt the bite. Well, it's a little bit bigger, more like 8 inches, but still a fish. I made my way over here to the bait stealing tree. I didn't catch anything here Sunday, but the 2 previous times I caught some fish on a wacky rig right in that general location where I threw this one to. So we're definitely going to try this for a while before we switch over to the Ned rig. Here we go. Got an 8-inch fish. I threw the wacky rig and the Ned rig all in around this tree, and I didn't get any more bites. So I'm going to move on to the last spot I have for the day. Going to pick up some miscellaneous trash that's sitting around in here that wasn't here 2 days ago, and head on out to my last spot. Okay, this will be the last spot for today. I actually caught a fish here Sunday. This is the cove where they dredged out, and I'm actually able to see where the actual dredged area starts, where the water gets deeper as the shoreline drops out. And what I did Sunday is I cast beyond it and worked the Ned rig back up. So I'm going to go ahead and try that again with this one. Make 2 or 3 casts in here and see if we can repeat that. Don't figure this as a high percentage, but give it a try. So it brings to an end another video. I had an okay day. I didn't get skunked, but then I didn't catch anything of size or in a great number. Probably typical for this time of year. But hey, you catch what you catch, as I've said many times before. So until next video, thanks for watching. Okay, and here's a quick demonstration of what I call the Poor Man's Ned Rig. Now, we're all familiar with the traditional Ned rig. It's a mushroom head jig, and the line tie is right here, and the orientation in the water should be somewhat like this in a stand-up position, so as you move it through the water it looks like a minnow or some other type bait fish or a crayfish bobbing up and down on the bottom looking for something to eat. This is a very good presentation. If you watch my videos, you know I almost fish this exclusively. Every body of water I've fished since I've started using the Ned rig, I've caught fish in but for one. Very good presentation. However, right now I am out of these Ned heads. I got more coming, but right now I don't have any. So I've had to improvise, and what I came up with, and I've actually had this done before, is what I call the Poor Man's Ned Rig. And basically this is just no different than a regular Texas rig. I have the, this is a 1/8 ounce bullet weight tied to a 1/0 worm hook. You can use a 1 size hook as well. I like the 1/0 for this reason. I mean, this is just like a Texas rig, only 2 things that are different on this. One is the worm I use. For this, I use exclusively the Z-Man TRD baits, 2 3/4 inch size. Now, this bait, because of what it's made of, is supposed to float. Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that say, well, these things don't float, and I can confirm that a lot of these don't. So what I do is I soak them in water overnight before I do that. I soak them, dry them off, and then basically what I do isn't any different. I put it on here just like you would a normal Texas rig. I'm not going to feed too well because I put 40-pound test line on here for display purposes so you can see it well, so forgive how it looks. Forgive how it looks on the hook there. And that's difference one is the worm I use. Difference two is how I peg the sinker to it. I'll take it and I'll turn it at a 90 degree to the worm, and I'll take a toothpick, and I prefer the ones with the points on both sides, and I'll peg it that way. I'll just turn it 90 degrees, no more than that, just there's a little bit of slack in here so it can turn. Peg it, break it off, and now what you have, if this worm does indeed float, because this would normally set, Texas rig would normally set in this orientation in the water, but because this will float or somewhat float, it will raise up. And as you bring it through the water, it'll have a more or less similar look than a Ned rig will. I mean, I call this the Poor Man's because I prefer not to use it. I like the regular, thank you for turning off air conditioning. I like the regular Ned rig better. It ends up being less expensive, it's easier to work. But as you saw in today's video, this presentation worked very well. 4 of the 6 fish I caught today, I caught on this type rig.